na jadan od Mostara grada, sve od lani pa evo do sada, kako biva od ljubavi strana, bol boluje, Šelebića biva, bol boluje, nikom ne kazuje, bol boluje, nikom ne kazuje. Čeri bibo i rumena ružo, kaži majci šta te boli dušo, kaži majci šta te boli dušo, mene boli i srce i glava, jer moja moć drugom razgovara, jer moja moć drugom razgovara. Kakavamo, voda ga odnijela, zbog njega si bivo oboljela, zbog njega si mlada oboljela, mila majko, nemoj me kleti, reko me je na jesen uzeti, reko me je na jesen uzeti.
Honorable members of the State Government Administrative Committee, a resolution has been placed before you to set aside July 11 as an annual day to remember the Srebrenica genocide and the week of July 11 as the Bosnian and Herzegovinian Tribute Week in state of Illinois. Be it further, we call upon all citizens of the United States to work toward ending the cycle of violence and to promote peaceful coexistence among all people on earth. This is an historical moment, and I'm honored to have an opportunity to speak for Bosnian American citizens in Illinois that have signed a petition for this resolution in April last year, which is the month that is dedicated to prevention of genocide that has taken place and still occurs in whole world. This resolution is in compliance with the U.S. House Resolution 134 in 2005 and the U.S. Senate Resolution 199 in 2005, as well as the International Criminal Court Tribunal established for the former Yugoslavia, the European Parliament Resolution from 2009, and similar resolution in the state of Michigan and Missouri. All these resolutions and their court decision state that Srebrenica massacre, in which 8,372 Bosniaks, who were innocent civilians, representing 3 generational men, were executed by Bosnian Serb forces as the worst single war crime committed in Europe since World War II. During the aggression against Bosnia and Herzegovina, which democratically became its own independent state in April 1992 with endorsement of the US, 200,000 persons were killed. 40% of 4,600,000 Bosnians were displaced, and one quarter of the total population were forced to leave. Many of the heavily wounded, victims of concentration camps and of rape camps, arrived in the US. Among them are my friends, Mrs. Samia Haidarovich Diab, who came with two sons, and Mr. Ferit Sefer, who came with his family. Both are with us in this room. Illinois is the most welcoming state to our community, where more than 50,000 Bosnians, over 35,000 in the city of Chicago, found their new home. Illinois opened its hospitals. Illinois opened its schools. And Illinois opened its businesses and community centers for them. Today, Bosnians are everywhere in Illinois. They are factory workers, construction workers, teachers, doctors, lawyers, and scientists. They are successful and loyal citizens of the state of Illinois. The state made a difference to thousands and represented hope for a new world view for millions. I would like to thank you, Mr. Greg Harris and Mr. Harry Osterman, and all of you for your participation in this resolution that will continue the selfless voice for fairness and justice. I would like to thank you on behalf of my friend Zuhra Osmanovic, a survivor of Srebrenica genocide. Her husband was killed and her son was taken from her hands that day on July 11th in 1995. She has never seen her son since. He was my son's age. My son, Emin Drnovšek Seferovic, is with us today in this room. She will never forget that moment, but she told me that this resolution will give her hope that justice and truth will prevail and will prevent future genocide, here or there or everywhere in the world. I personally believe that possibility for greater understanding in Bosnia and Herzegovina and throughout the world depends on our realization that truth and justice are the first steps toward reconciliation. It is also a warning to future generations that this crime should never happen again to any group of people, anywhere and anytime. Thank you again. Sanja Seferovic Drnovšek, Director of Bosnians American Genocide Institute and Education Center.
Passing a resolution and the process that it takes seems like a difficult or it could be frightening process for some. Is there any advice that you could give to young activists out there?
Yes, it does. It seems very difficult and discouraging. And my personal experience and my opinion, I would like to underline three important steps. The first one is that individuals, citizens, the democratic society should believe that they can make a difference. They can take initiative and change, make a difference in society. And I did believe, and I took initiative, and Bosnians American citizens in Chicago, particularly in Bosnian Library, with their friends who believe in justice that can prevail, they signed a petition and asked the state of Illinois to pass the Bosnians resolution, the Srebrenica genocide resolution. The second step is that politicians represent and respect their citizens. And the great example is Greg Harris, who respected Bosnians who live in this area and in 48 Worth, and especially a young politician, Edin Seferovic, who worked for his office. And he was a sponsor for this resolution, for all this long process. And we had to follow together. It took about a few years. And the third step is that our government and the legal process finalize the citizens' effort, not for because of few of them, but for good for all. My awesome message to young people is that they have to believe that educational process is the process which final goal is that citizens supposed to be active in their society. And the activity, one of those examples is to sign petition to encourage process like those, not which we did give an example. I would also like to say a little bit particularly about the Bosnia-Herzegovina is that for us it's especially essential to have gatherings of young people on a theme of Bosnia and Herzegovina, multicultural, religious, and multi-ethnic society as a nation of tolerance. It has a universal and world dimension which goes beyond geographic frames. Srebrenica is an example of discrimination and genocide of the Bosniak nation, and it's a reminder to young generation about the destructive impact of prejudice